They're quite substantial. There's a lot of them, and it's all in color. But if you look at them online on your computer, I think it's a good reinforcement to these chapters because it's good to see the pictures.
It's a long chapter. It's long.
Yeah.
But not a lot of notes here, not a long chapter, but the details that Gary provided are pretty good, really good. All right, who would like to pray us in for Bible study?
Oh, somebody else is on, Rich Wilker.
Oh, okay.
Dear God, thank you for this time together. Thank you for the 10 minutes of rain. We really needed it. We need some more. Bless us on as we go through all this COVID, and help those who need it, and keep us safe. In your name, amen.
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 Amen. Amen. All right, so chapters Deuteronomy 28 through 30, we're getting to the end. We will finish up next week, and then we'll be into Matthew. So Deuteronomy this week and next week, and then Matthew. So chapters 28 and 29, they're like bookends, because we have we've got the blessings, we have the curses, and then we have the renewal of the covenant. So Deuteronomy 28, the whole chapter makes it obvious to the Israelites that they're going to get everything that they deserve. So if they're obedient to the commands, they'll be blessed. If they're disobedient, they'll get cursed. And what we're going to find out is that the blessings are kind of abbreviated, but the curses are in extreme detail. And I think the reason for that is when you threaten somebody, you want to scare them straight. So you want to make sure that they know exactly what they're in for. And some of the curses are pretty gross, as we're going to find out. So Moses tells the second generation in verse 1, if you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on the earth. All these blessings will come to you and accompany you. So what Moses is saying is the Israelites have to obey every single command and follow every single command in order to get the blessings. So we know it in our sermons over the last couple of years and in our Bible studies how impossible it is to follow just one of the 10 commandments. It's just tough. I mean, we can't even not talk about our neighbors. And we can't stop getting angry at people. And Jesus tells us when we get angry, it's just as bad as you're murdering somebody. So we can't do it. So we know that the Israelites aren't going to be able to earn these blessings because it seems like they don't even try to follow any of the commandments.
What about if you had some bad people like we've really had now that are really in Seattle where they do these protests and people...
Oh, they shut them down
on the whole thing.
Yeah, they shut them down today.
Could you not have talked about them?
Yeah, they chased them out.
I would have. I'm sorry.
Well, see, there's a difference between gossip and talking about reality.
Okay.
So for example, Natalie says, well, what if you talk about the people who were encamped, or if you talk about people who are doing bad things? Well, that's truth. So there's no law against the truth. God doesn't have a law against the truth.
Okay.
But when you think about gossip, or where you lie about somebody, that's where the sin comes in.
Or you don't know for sure.
Yeah, and if you don't know for sure, you shouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I always go back to what Orpha Hughes, how old is she now, 106?
She's going to be 105.
She'll be 105 now. Mm-hmm. She was one of our members in Wisconsin.
Oh.
When she was faced with, when someone would ask her, oh, what about this person? What do you know about them? Orpha would say, it's not my story to tell.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's very wise.
That is a good answer.
It's not my story.
Answer. She is, I'll tell you, if we ever go back to Wisconsin again, we have to pop in and see her.
Yeah.
But it's a long ride, and there's nothing there, so.
4.5 hours to there.
Yeah, Orpha, we miss you, but that's a long ride.
It's not gonna be anything that's on the final, is it?
No.
Oh, we're having a final? Oh, no.
Well, and that's not going to happen until we get through all the books of the Bible.
Oh, well, I'll be gone.
Me too.
Yeah.
Actually.
And see, that's one of the reasons.
2050?
That's one of the reasons why I'm Methodist and not Presbyterian, because one of their ordination exams is a Bible test, and it's over the whole Bible. Presbyterians have it really rough.
Well, when I was in Lutheran confirmation, we had to take a test at the end.
Would we
Not
have
only
had it if I
that,
hadn't asked
The
about
whole
it?
congregation. We had to get up in front of the whole congregation and answer questions
Really?
orally.
Yeah?
No?
Yeah.
I think they used to
I
do
wish
it.
I remembered all the answers now.
Well, but you had training
You
for
know,
that.
that was years ago. Oh my gosh.
And you just got out of confirmation class, so it was fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
You had to have a nice white dress.
Yes.
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 Like that meant something.
That's right. I think I may still have the dress if you want to retrieve it.
Anyway, we digress.
Grab it.
And in verse 2, Moses tells.
Grab your paper and think you can always just, what? Whoops, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, he has it on mute.
Okay.
Okay.
And Moses tells the Israelites in verse 2, all these blessings will come on you and accompany you. So once they followed all the 10 commandments and did exactly what God said, the blessings wouldn't just stay with them while they're in the promised land, it would follow them wherever they went. So it wasn't limited to any borders. And then we don't have to go through all the blessings, but as you can see, they're all inclusive. In verse 3, it tells the Israelites, you'll be blessed in the city and blessed in the country, pretty much wherever they go. The fruit of your womb will be blessed, the crops of your land, the young of your livestock, the calves and herds. What God is telling the Israelites is, I will give you life. Not only human life, but life from the land, life for your livestock. You will be totally blessed. Even your bread basket and your kneading dough will be blessed. So everything they bake.
Is that supposed to be
Will come
dough or tro?
Trough.
Trough.
Trough. You're kneading trough.
You're kneading trough.
So maybe they made a lot of bread.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's what they ate.
Think
They
fall
couldn't go to the
review
store.
and, Swedish rye.
Well, yeah, and along,
Yeah, it's
I think of a trough, have the trough that we put food in for the cattle and stuff.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a long trough.
Yeah.
And they might have cleaned it out before they made bread.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe
A
not.
little extra grain.
Unless they wanted extra seeds. And you'll be blessed when you come in and blessed when you go out. And another confirmation that you can be blessed no matter where they go to. The Lord will grant that the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in 7. So what God is saying is, we know 7 to be a number of completeness. So he's saying that their enemies will flee from them completely. They're all going to run away. None of them are going to stick around and attack them.
This is if you obey.
If you obey, right. These are all the blessings. Through 13, verse 13. He's going to send a blessing on your barns and everything you put your hand to. Everything you do, God is going to bless you. The Lord your God will bless you in the land he's giving you. He's establishing them as his holy people, as he promised Abraham way back when in Genesis. If you keep the commands of the Lord your God and walk in obedience with him. Confirming to them that, okay, you're going to get these things I just mentioned if you're obedient. And then all the peoples on earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will fear you because they are completely blessed. The Lord will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your womb, the young of your livestock, the crops in your ground, the land he swore to you. And he's even going to allow it to rain. He's going to allow it to rain so the crops will grow. The Lord will make you the head, not the tail. So the Israelites would rule the whole world if they were obedient. If pay attention to the commands of the Lord your God. Moses keeps reaffirming to them that they have to follow the commands. Otherwise, they're not going to get any of the blessings. Because Moses wants them to live. Moses wants them to prosper. And then, in verse 14, the final reiteration, do not turn aside from any of the commands I give you today. Not to the right, to the left, following other gods. If they follow the commands, they're going to be completely blessed. But they've got to stay on the straight and narrow. Then we get into the curses for disobedience. And like I said, we have maybe one page of blessings and 1, 2,
There's a bunch of curses.
3, 4 pages of curses. And we know as we read these things, these are things that actually happen to the Israelites, as we're going to see. In verse 20, the Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke you in everything you put your hand to, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him. God told them in the first couple commandments, I am the Lord your God. Obey me, follow me, have no gods before me. So if they forsake him, if they turn aside from him, this is what they're going to get.
Verse 21 makes you kind of think.
The Lord, yeah. Gene, that's kind of what you were referring
That kind of
to.
hits home.
Yeah. The Lord will plague you with diseases until he has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. You know, some people are wondering, is that what's happening now? And I told Gene, I said, well, it could be, and you really couldn't blame God if he did, because he's been pretty patient up until now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We see so many good things coming out of this,
Right.
Yes.
such as people worshiping on Facebook, people coming to church, more people praying. What we haven't seen yet is people working together for a cure, or people working together and forgetting about the color of people's skin. That hasn't happened yet.
Well, it sort of happened. They're working for closer. I just saw on the news before I left for here.
Okay.
A Germany company and Pfizer. But he says we're still at least a year away.
Yeah.
It's just the start.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, that's what he
And then
said.
they have to test it, and
Yeah.
sometimes the effects of it are not
What they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and
No.
if it's like any other drug out there, the side effects are usually about 3 pages long
yes.
to cure one thing.
I just heard tonight on the news too that they are kind of praying that it will just wear itself out,
Mm.
which flus have done before.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you get herd immunity,
Yeah.
enough people are immune to it, then it dies.
You know, there are people I've heard say that they think that they maybe had it in like January and February
Mhm.
and would love to be tested to see if they are immune
Yeah.
now.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, like Molly Seymour, she
Mhm.
had it.
right,
She didn't even know she had it
right,
until she went to work and they took her temperature and tested
Yeah.
her, and she had it.
yeah.
So it's so varied, the
Right.
effects of it
Mhm.
and just how it shows itself.
Right.
Verse 24, God will even stop the rain from coming, and it'll turn the land into dust and powder. And he's referring to a drought, of course. And I missed something. Verse 20. Oh, him. Where it says, the Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him. So in NIV it says him. Does anybody else have a different version of the Bible besides NIV? And how is God referenced in verse 20 in your version?
28:20.
28:20.
May the Lord send upon you starvation, burning thirst, and dysentery, whatever you are about, until you are destroyed and quickly perish for your evil doings, because you have forsaken me.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a more accurate translation, Tom, because in the Hebrew, instead of him, they have capitalized me to reference God. And that's one of the problems I have with a lot of translations of the Bible. They no longer capitalize the references to God. And if you're not reading the Bible in context, if you're just taking verses outside of the context, you may not know that they're talking about God. Currently, the only versions that capitalize the pronoun references to God are the King James Version and the New King James Version. So if you ever have any questions about if they're talking about God, if they're referencing God, go to Bible Gateway on the web and look up a verse, and then at the bottom it says all English translations. Click on that, it'll show you.
Okay.
If you have a red letter Bible, it's easy to see where they're talking about Jesus because Jesus speaks and it's always in red letters.
Right.
So that's easy. But if you ever have any...
This translation, Jim, wherever they have Lord or God, it's capitalized.
Good. What translation is that?
New English?
Oh, New English. Okay, good.
I think I have that at home.
I'll check that out.
Yes, I do have that at home. I need to get that and not use it.
Good. I'll use that in my defense when I write my ordination papers. Because some of the people I'll be sitting in front of don't want you to capitalize the pronouns when you're talking about God, he and him. So I'll use that. Another thing for my defense.
There you go.
So we go through some more incredible curses, where in the blessings, the enemies will escape from them 7 different ways. In verse 25, it's the reverse. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in 7. And you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on the earth. Your carcasses will be food for all the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. So God is saying, if you go to fight against anybody, you're going to be annihilated quickly, and there'll be so many bodies, we won't even have time to bury them.
I don't like 30.
Okay, 30.
You'll be pledged to be married to a woman, but another will take her and rape her? I was like, whoa.
Yep. And you will build a house, you won't live in it, you'll plant a vineyard, you won't even eat it, fruit. God is saying everything you have is going to be taken away from you.
So, do you think some people now who have literally a dark cloud follows them? We all know those people in our lives. There is a dark cloud over them. Do you think that's because they're not obedient to God that these things happen to them? Or am I going too Old Testament here?
I'd have to say
Well,
no.
There's always Job.
Right, there's always Job.
Right.
And
because there's some people, I know, I'm not naming names, but I know of them that it's just like one thing after another.
yeah, I'd have to say no, hon, because Jesus tells us in the New Testament, think of the guy who was blind,
Yeah.
and the disciples said, well, who sinned, him or his parents, that he's blind?
Oh.
And Jesus says, neither. Sometimes this happens for the glory of God. And in that particular instance, the man was blind so Jesus could cure him. And people could see that through the glory of God, this man was cured.
Okay.
So I'd say based on that, no.
Okay.
You would certainly think, reading the Old Testament, that could happen. But I think that God handles sin in a different way now, that Jesus died for our sins. And even even Christians who have claimed Jesus as their Lord and Savior, they still go through terrible trials.
Right,
Because God's wisdom isn't our wisdom.
right.
You know, we can't explain everything. And Gary, the notes that Gary gave us, there's a branch of theology called systematic theology, where they try to explain everything that's happened in the Bible and try to explain everything, every theological concept. And you just can't do that. Like, why is there pain and suffering? We don't know,
Yeah.
but systematic theology tries to analyze it and figure it out. Like verse 34 says, the sights you see will drive you mad.
Well, that's about now. Well, you were saying what's going on.
Yeah,
it's
sometimes.
now. You just can't watch TV.
Well,
The
and
news.
I think people of our generation and even earlier, they look at things now, life now, and they can't believe how much it's changed since we were young. You can't even believe it's changed so much in 10 years. How people can't even talk to each other anymore.
So
It's,
the 60s though had some of that going on too. It's
That's
kinda
true.
Like only more so now. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
More people are involved in it. Before then it was not so many people.
Psychedelic. Flower power.
Oh, yeah.
That was the flower.
I was
power.
I was like late 60s, early 70s. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
you were too young for
I was
that.
I was born in 59, so I wouldn't remember a lot, but I do remember
You thought you were a hippie, but you really weren't.
I had bell-bottom pants.
Everybody did.
Everybody.
And none of your clothes matched.
No, that's right.
No, tie-dye, everything.
You had plaid on top and different plaid on the
Yeah.
bottom. And
But it was plaid.
ugly. For kicks, I'll have to bring in one of my yearbooks from the 70s. Just awful. Awful clothes. Okay, so this, and verse 34 would have been true then. The sights you see will drive you mad, the clothes we wore. Oh my goodness.
The high heels, huh?
The high
You had high
heels.
heels.
Yep, I did. I did. So anyway, I digress. The things that are going bad in this world, like, COVID-19, racial unrest, and political parties fighting and dividing the country, it can drive unbelievers mad. But as Christians, we know we have something else to rely on. We know that, the Democrats and Republicans are never going to get along, but we know that the solutions to the problems aren't going to come through government. The solutions to the problem are going to